Thank you so much for coming in to meet with me today.
Of course.
When you are comfortable, go ahead and tell me of something that you would like to discuss today.
I would like to talk about probably the abuse my baby dad put me through. My kids' father put me through.
Mm-hmm. So how long ago was this?
I left him almost 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
so a little over 2 years ago.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you by chance want to go through with me like what exactly the abuse was?
Everything: physical, mental, emotional, the things he said, the things he did,
Mm-hmm.
his actions, just everything. Everything was abusive, and I think it just got to a point to where it became too much of physical abuse to where like I couldn't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand, and I'm sorry to hear about this. Could you by chance talk with me about how this affected your children?
I've noticed that they don't care for men. Anytime a man comes around, whether that's a family member, friends, or just a man in public, like they get very distant. They get very observant. They don't really care for men. Not right now, anyways. They don't really draw to men like they do to females. Like if there's a man and a female in a room, they will go to a female before they'll go to a man, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How does that make you feel though as their mom?
Kind of sad, because I just want them, I don't know, I feel like they deserve to be loved by a good man. But in the same aspect, like I know their biological father could not love them the way they needed to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather them have that missing piece right now and have that missing dad factor than to give them a father that doesn't really love them or protect them or care about them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I understand where you are coming from, and I completely validate those feelings you have about it. Are you currently dating?
I tried dating. I don't think dating right now is for me. I think honestly I just need to keep working on myself and keep healing and keep growing my relationship with my children, because when me and their dad split up, it kind of put a little separation between me and my kids a little bit, because I was having to do everything by myself, and I still am having to do everything by myself. So I feel like until a man can really show me that he can be there for me and my kids, and like dating's different from when like you don't have children. When you don't have children, you date for yourself, but when you have children, you have to date for your kids as well. Like I have to find somebody that's good to them as well as they're good to me.
Right, absolutely. And I appreciate you prioritizing yourself as well as your kids during this, because that is a very difficult time.
Yeah.
Especially having all both physical, mental, and emotional abuse from him. Does that ever affect you in your relationships?
Yeah, I have a really hard time trusting now. I have a really hard time taking anything serious, because I feel like a lot of men put on this really good mask, like they're this perfect person, and then once you get into that like committed relationship with them, everything changes, and then they become this abusive, crazy person. And like that just frightens me. So yeah, I would definitely say it does affect my relationships now, because I don't want to date right now.
I understand that, absolutely. And that is you prioritizing yourself, and that is also you prioritizing your family as well. And this is all because of past trauma that you've had with your baby daddy, of course. Is he still within your life?
No, he hasn't been a part of our lives. I think the last time he seen them was last year sometime. It's been almost a year, honestly. The last time he came around, he did good for about 2 weeks. And then I just noticed the same patterns again, and the same stuff again, and him complaining about the kids, and him complaining about everything, and then like the hateful words he was saying, which referred back to the abuse again, and took me way back to him putting his hands on me and everything else. So ever since that incident, I just haven't let him back around. Like he'll try to text and call and all that. I just don't see a point in letting him be around when he genuinely doesn't want to be around. I think genuinely he wants me, he doesn't want the kids. I don't feel like he cares about them, because I could never imagine not seeing my kids for more than a day. Like if I go a day without them, or even if I'm at work, like I'm calling them every other hour, every 30 minutes, seeing what they're doing. seeing how they're doing, seeing if they need anything. So I just couldn't imagine being a parent, having children out in this world, and not seeing them for months and years at a time, and not checking on them, and not helping with them, and not providing for them. It's honestly just shitty.
And I completely understand that. So I have a question for you about your caregiving skills. It seems like it differs a lot from your baby dad's caregiving skills. So how would you describe you as a caregiver and as their parent?
I don't know, because there's days that like I feel like I do such a good job with them, and like that I'm one of the best moms ever, and like that I have this hand in hand and I'm on top of the world with them. But then there's days like I get overwhelmed and I'm always yelling and I'm always raising my voice, and my son's like, "Mom, you're being mean today." Like, that hurts my feelings, but I don't think they realize that I'm one person and there's three of them, and I'm doing it by myself. Because when my oldest son gets to go to his dad's, because he has a different dad than my other two babies, when he goes to his dad gets to be the fun dad, and because his dad has a girlfriend, so there's a 2-parent household there. They get to go have fun, they get to do this, they get to do that, and Carson's the only kid over there. So when he comes back home, he doesn't enjoy being at home as much as he likes being at his dad's, because I can't do all those fun things with him. I can't not go to work. I can't stop everything I'm doing to play the game with him, and he doesn't understand that like I'm only one person, and his dad has that extra help. I don't have that.
You're doing everything you can to be their parent and their caregiver, and I would say you're doing a really great job of that. And I promise you that your children are going to appreciate that, and they love you, and they do appreciate that right now.
I just wish I could get my anger under control. Like when I'm overwhelmed and I'm overstimulated, it goes straight to anger. If I'm sad, it doesn't matter. I just go straight to anger. And I don't really know when that started, because I haven't always been like that. But especially here recently, like I've noticed like every single emotion I have, it just turns to straight anger. And I don't know if that's just because like I'm so hurt that it's just turning into anger, or I don't know.
Would you say it's because you're hurt because of your baby dad, or because the fact that you have to take on 3 kids by yourself?
I would say it's just over everything. Like it's just over the fact that like you came into my life with nothing but ill intentions, got me pregnant back to back, literally trapped me in a house, like abused me for years, and then now you get to go live your best life, but here I am working full time, raising 3 kids by myself, trying to be superwoman, and it's overwhelming.
And I completely understand that.
Not impossible, but overwhelming.
Yes. It's never impossible, but it can be difficult at times, especially when there's 3 of them.
I just don't want them to like grow up and look back and be like, my mom was never happy. My mom was always angry. My mom was always yelling at us. But I feel like when I come to them calmly, or I ask them calmly to stop doing something, or stop fighting, or stop doing this, or stop doing that, they don't listen to me until I get to that point to where I have to raise my voice. And I don't know if that's just from how he used to be, because he always used to scream and yell and everything, and that's the only time they listened is when he screamed and yelled. So I don't know if I'm just taking his traits and now they're becoming my bad habits, you know?
I understand where you're coming from. Are you noticing any bad habits that they are receiving?
Not as far as them. I would say it's more me. They don't like when I yell, though. I can tell, because my youngest, he is getting tested for autism right now. I haven't told anybody that yet, but he's getting tested for autism. I'm pretty sure he's autistic. They've already like pretty much confirmed it, but we have to go finish out the testing and stuff. He doesn't like when I raise my voice or yell, because it overstimulates him. So then the moment I yell at one of them or something, he's crying. So like, I wouldn't say it's not them. They're not picking up any habits, but it's my habits that I don't want to force onto them, and my anger that I don't want to force from them. I feel like my baby dad gave me his anger and all these like angry ass traits, And now I don't want to take what he gave me and give it to my kids. So I'm trying to change it, but how can you change it when you're overwhelmed 24/7?
Mm-hmm. And I want you to know, you're doing everything in your power that you can do to help solve that.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise that. And I want you to know that your children love you and that they appreciate you as your mom, as their mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to know that I feel like you're very resilient and a very confident mother, and you know exactly what's best for your kids, which is all that you can do, really.
Right.
So, is there anything specific that I could help you with to help you feel more comfortable and validated as a mother during those times?
Just learning how to keep my composure and my cool. Like that's just my biggest thing with it, because like my biological father, he was an angry man and he was always yelling and raising his voice at us and everything else. And then their dad was like that. And then like now I feel like I'm starting to be like that and I don't want to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how to contain my emotions and teach my children how to contain their emotions. Let them know that their emotions are definitely valid, but learn how not to act out on emotion, because that's what I'm doing right now is I'm just acting out on her. I'm acting out on anger and I'm taking it out on them, and it's really not their fault. They're kids. They're gonna fight. They're gonna argue. They're gonna break shit. They're gonna make things dirty. I mean, that's what kids do. They're gonna make messes. That's what they do. But like in my mind, in the moment when it happens, it's like, why don't you guys just sit down and chill out? Why are you guys always in something? Why are you guys like I don't know. I don't know.
Acting out on emotions is pure human nature. Everybody does it. And you should not feel that it is wrong to act out on emotions. But we can try some different techniques to help you calm yourself down before maybe an aggressive approach comes out. Have you tried any techniques before of like breathing exercises, meditation?
I mean, I've tried gentle parenting and I've tried like the whole coming at them gentle and stuff like that. But then at the end of the day, I'm literally exhausted because I have to repeat myself 50,000 million times a day while trying to keep my composure and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when I'm like that, they don't take me serious.
Mm-hmm.
But when I raise my voice, they're like, "Oh, she means business. She's upset." I feel like that's the only time I can grab their attention. I just wish there was like a different way I could grab their attention without having to raise my voice, without having to get myself upset. Because honestly, like I said, they're kids. They're gonna do kid things, and I don't know why that like triggers me so bad, but it does.
You know, I mean, it could be because of past trauma from your own childhood as well. So going back to what you're talking about with gentle parenting, so correct me if I'm wrong. You have tried techniques of gentle parenting and going up to them gently, telling them not to do something, and they did not necessarily take it seriously.
Yeah, that, okay. Or they would just go right back and do what they were just told not to do. So it's like almost like
redundant.
Yeah, and like mockery in my face almost. Like I've had conversations with my oldest son, like, you don't like when I yell, right? And he's like, no, I don't like when you yell. I'm like, okay, so instead of me yelling when I ask the first, second, or third time, why can't we just stop? Why do we have to keep doing it until the point that I yell?
Right.
And like, but like he's almost 7. Like, that is he gonna understand that? Probably not. Like I don't know.
And I will say communication is that first step with your children. And I do understand that they are on the younger side of their age span, and they might not exactly know about communication, what healthy communication is just yet. But I feel like you as a mom, you're trying to teach that to them.
Yeah.
And that is a great skill for them to learn, especially when it comes to discipline and things like that, because it seems as though they're not reactive to gentle parenting. So it seems as though you have to go in a more of aggressive approach for them to react correctly.
And I feel like it's because there's not a man in the house now, because they didn't used to be this way, but now, since that there's no man in the house, I feel like they try to run all over me all day, every day. And it's very exhausting because it's like, I'm the only one here doing it. I'm the only one here making sure you have clean clothes, a clean house, food in your bellies, going to school.